Hello, everyone, and welcome to this issue of Anti-Life Reviews. This month, I, Daytona Makai, Master of Minds and of Men, am going to be looking at things I have nostalgia for, not the comics themselves, but what they are based on. I start with one that I would like to stop and sincerely dedicate to Thuy Trang and Jason David Frank, two Power Rangers that we lost over the years. Thank you for everything. Of course, this gives away sort of what I'll be looking at, as today published by Boom Studios and DC Comics, running for 6 issues that went from January 2017 to September 2017, and that is The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers meets The Justice League. Interesting crossover here, so hit subscribe and let's go ahead and get into it. Writers and artists on this. The writer is Tom Taylor, writer who I feel like I might be unduly hard on due to the fact that he's part of the modern crop of DC writers that, well, writes everything so formulaic and uninspired that it had killed the comic book print industry, essentially. His Marvel work is no better, lots of Star Wars work, another franchise that I consider to be DOA. Let's hope Power Rangers is cheesy enough it covers up for his shortcomings. And the artist is Stephen Brime. Overly polished digital art that resembles fan service, Astro Robot, more than good comic book art. Just looks like a web comic artist or a mobile game artist. Maybe it'll work though. And let's talk about the groups first. This is the first Power Ranger group. That's Jason, Zach, Billy, Trini, Kimberly, and Tommy. And the JLA team is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, who's John Stewart. Flash is Barry Allen, and we have Cyborg. We see Angel Grove, home of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, destroyed. How? Why? Well, we go back 2 days, with Lord Zedd invading the Rangers' base. Zack, the Black Ranger, tries to teleport after him, but he has been teleported to the DC Universe, where he runs afoul of the Batman. The other Rangers show up, and they do manage to hold Bruce back for a moment before the JLA arrive. And we get a little bit of a brawl until Wonder Woman uses her lasso to find the truth on Kimberly. Pretty sure that was a fantasy of mine as a kid. But they're not the only ones who have gotten through. Lord Zedd has as well, and he has met up with one Brainiac to form an alliance. Zedd and Brainiac attack together and take out the Zords and the Rangers' powers, but prepare to regroup for a bigger attack. After some shenanigans at the Super Hadron Collider, we find that Brainiac has shrunk Angel Grove, which we saw in the opening salvo. Well, the Power Rangers may not have their powers, but the JLA armory is open, and they all get weapons and new but familiar costumes, with Tommy getting, like Lex Luthor's power suit, Billy has Prometheus' costume, Kimberly has Hawkgirl's costume, and so on and so forth. Brainiac manages to infest Cyborg, but Batman reboots him, to which Cyborg is not happy that Batman knows how to do that. And Zedd's giant monsters attack the Power Rangers Earth, along with Brainiac's robot body. And we get the huge final battle, with Alpha 5 doing his best to help, the Rangers getting their powers back thanks to Superman, and the Megazord ending Zod's reign of terror. Zedd's reign of terror, not Zod. I was thinking of a Nosferatu Zod from Berserk. So if I said Zod in this, I apologize. I'm not going to go back and listen to every time I said Zedd. In the end, the two groups go to the juice bar for some drinks, where Bruce Wayne intimidates Bulk and Skull, which is fantastic. But we see Brainiac may have infiltrated Alpha 5 to end the story. So let's talk about this. We'll start with the art. The art was odd. I didn't hate it. I said earlier, I'm probably going to go into this not liking the art. I didn't really like it. It worked for the Power Ranger stuff. It was big and colorful and looked like a kid's cartoon. But the JLA members came off as slightly odd looking, especially Superman. He didn't look right to me, and frankly, no one's face looked correct. The Rangers or the JLA. I kind of had a hard time figuring out Bruce from Clark at the end, as they were just like tall white guys with brown hair. It was overly glossy. Zod looked like the Liver King with a big HGH gut. It was serviceable, I guess, but nothing really worth a damn. Mike Allred did an alternate cover for this, and damn, I would have loved to see him do the whole book, but I'd love to see Mike Allred do a lot of comics. So, to the story, it was better than I expected. It flowed pretty nicely, with only a few hiccups and pacing issues, and ultimately, it's a pretty breezy crossover. We didn't get a ton of conversation between the characters to help flesh out how they were similar and different. We did get some with Billy and Cyborg, but everyone else was kind of there. I don't even know if Jason got dialogue that wasn't expository at all. Tommy had none of his normal attitude, and it was odd that JLA couldn't really handle it all by themselves. I would find Zod would have a hard time with guys like Flash or Green Lantern by themselves. Nonetheless, Superman, I mean, whatever. But you have to give them some leeway on these kinds of things, as it was just a fun little crossover story. Sorry, I tripped up on myself there, but I was trying to imagine Zod fighting Superman. To the characterization, really the only people that got any of it was Zach, who was essentially the main character. He had some narrative, and that was a good choice. I like seeing more about Zach and his family, little as it was. The other one was Alpha 5, who got a small but satisfying story arc. Everyone else, like I said, was just there. And it's hard to rectify that. Batman got he's kind of mean. And I did love him intimidating Bulk and Skull, then offering to pay, but his money, he had a $100 bill, had DC Universe former president Lex Luthor on it, and the Rangers being like, we never had that president. I found that Green Lantern and Flash were pretty useless in this. They didn't do anything, save with Trini and Jason as well. They didn't do anything. So yeah, it didn't do itself any favors by focusing on one Ranger, but at least that Ranger got a good look. It did make sense for Brainiac to be the villain, so he can control technology to some extent, and it takes out the Zords right away. So that is a plus. The villains, Zod and Brainiac, they didn't interact really too much either, and they were whatever. Overall, I actually like this story okay. Not everything needs to be big and heavy or self-important. It's just a fun little story about the Rangers meeting with the Justice League, and that's what we got. It's probably more than we could have asked for, and I'm sure both IPs don't want to bow too much to the other, as they were seen on relatively even terms in a lot of ways. It took me about 20 minutes to read, and honestly, I did not feel my time was wasted, and it brought a smile on my face a few times. Honestly, MVP in this was Batman, especially with the Bulk and Skull scene, and holding his own against the Rangers, so yeah. Well, that was the Power Rangers Meet the Justice League. Which one of the Power Ranger groups was your favorite? Let me know down below. And I'll be honest with you, I'm more of a Super Sentai fan than Power Rangers. Instead of Tommy Burra is my favorite Ranger in general. But the Dai Rangers, the Zyu Rangers, the Gokai Rangers, I loved all of those. Add me on Instagram under Demon Peaks. Check out my Patreon where you can support me for just $1 as I try to improve this channel. Come back next week where I'll be looking at more nostalgia in Godzilla, the Half-Century War. Don't forget to subscribe. And finally, have a good day, a good week. Thank you so much, and I love you. It's been the Tono Makaya, Master of Minds and of Men. And goodbye.